So when I first started learning how to play poker, I used to love to play fancy. I'd pick up a strong hand and I'd often just check it or make a small bet at the most because I didn't want to scare them off. Also, I had seen some famous high stakes player do this once in $1 million cash game, and I was going to play just like them in my $1, $2 game. Guys, as you can imagine, this strategy quickly turned into a massive failure for me. It wasn't until I learned to finally stop overcomplicating a very simple card game and use a series of proven strategies that actually work that my results finally started taking off. That's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. Let's jump into it. Number one, no cheap draws. So guys, first things first, what you want to do at the poker tables is learn how to price yourself like a luxury brand. And what I mean by that is understanding that every time you make a bet or raise at the poker table, you are setting the market price. You are telling your customer, which is the other player in the hand, how much they need to pay in order to continue on in this hand of poker. Let me give you an example. You raise it up with two black kings, the king of clubs and the king of spades, and one of our fishy friends calls. Now, this is a recreational player. They just play the game for fun. They don't take this game seriously like you do. So the flop comes down with the 9 of diamonds, 8 of hearts, and 4 of hearts. They check. What should you do? Well, number one, let's just talk about this board. This is a very, very draw heavy board. There are multiple straight draws, flush draws. If this player has any 2 hearts in their hand, for example, they have a heart draw. We don't have a heart, so we're not blocking hearts at all. Also, if this player has a hand like Jack 10 or a hand like 6-7, they have an open-ended straight draw. So guys, bottom line, in a situation like this, what you want to do is charge them the maximum. I honestly will just go ahead and bet the pot most of the time in a situation like this. So if there's $50 in the pot, I bet $50. Guys, here's the key takeaway here. When you're up against one of these recreational players who you know is going to call with anything, any draw, and honestly any pair as well, and sometimes they'll even call with nothing at all, and you have a strong overpair like pocket kings here, just charge them the maximum. Protect your hand. Don't bet some tiny amount or try to check and get tricky. That's only going to end up costing you money in the long run. Make them pay instead. Number two, stop making bad calls. So guys, curiosity is not a valid excuse, and this is another big mistake that I made early on in my professional poker career. Let's jump into an example. Again, you have 2 red 8s this time. That's the 8 of hearts and the 8 of diamonds, and let's just skip ahead all the way to the river here. So the board reads the king of spades, 6 of diamonds, 3 of clubs, 10 of hearts, and 7 of spades. In this hand, a solid regular. Now, this is a good player who is watching videos like this, who takes the game seriously like you do. They have bet the entire way on the flop, turn, and river. You've called all 3 streets, only to be shown the very obvious bad news that they flip over the king queen. They had top pair the whole way. They were just doing the most obvious thing, like I mentioned off the top. Guys, don't fall for this. When solid regulars are betting the whole way, they have it. They're not bluffing you. Once again, don't overcomplicate a very simple card game. Only call river bets if you beat bluffs here. There were no draws on this flop. This player is clearly never bluffing here. This is not a fishy player, just fold your 1 pair hand. Number 3, follow the money. So guys, I'm going to tell you nearly 90% of my profits throughout my entire professional poker career have come from one player type. I'm sure you can already guess who that is, and let's give you another example right now against that particular player type. So you raise it up with 2 red queens, the queen of hearts, and the queen of diamonds, and one of our fishy friends calls. Guys, this is where all the money comes from in poker. It is recreational players who we lovingly refer to as the fish. Flop comes down with the 10 of clubs, 6 of hearts, and deuce of spades. You bet, they call. So typical spot here. We have a strong overpair. We just want to bet for value, and as you already know, we're going to be betting big here. We're not going to be making any small bets, and we're certainly never checking here in order to get tricky or try to trap them in some manner. Turn comes down with the jack of diamonds. What should you do? Once again, guys, foot on the gas pedal. Make another strong bet here. Let a recreational player call you down with whatever they have. Remember, these players will call you with any draw, any pair, and sometimes even with nothing at all. So you bet they call. River comes down with the total brick, the deuce of hearts, pairing the bottom card. Once again, guys, what should you do here? This is the mistake that a lot of people make, because they'll check here, or maybe just make a really small bet because they're afraid of getting raised. Guys, just make another strong bet here. If they do shove all in, you don't need to worry. They're never bluffing. They have a 2. They have have pocket tens, but most of the time they're just hanging on with some sort of one pair hand, and that's exactly the case here. They make the call flipping over ace 10. This player called you the entire way with top pair, because let's be honest, fishy poker players don't fold top pair, they don't fold middle pair, heck, they don't fold any pairs. Guys, always remember that this is where all of your profit comes at the poker tables. Follow the money and you're going to have a lot more success. By the way, if you want to know all of the strategies that I use against all 5 major poker player types, I discuss that in my free poker cheat sheet. I give you exact strategies, showing you exactly what hands to play, when to slow down, when to bet, raise, and bluff. It's totally free. I will leave a link to that in the description below. Number 4, never chase miracles. So guys, small pairs are good for a set, and that's it. So let me give you an example. A tight player raises and you call with 2 black 4s. That's the 4 of clubs and the 4 of spades. Flop comes down with the 10 of diamonds, 9 of hearts, and 5 of clubs. They bet. What should you do? Well guys, this flop is a total disaster for our hand. Number 1, we didn't hit our set, and a set is 3 of a kind using a pocket pair, and that is the entire reason why you play these small pocket pairs. Most of the time these hands are not good enough on their own to continue on the flop, turn, and river, and you are just torching money by making calls in a situation like this. What you want to do instead is just fold your hand versus a competent player here and move on to the next one. Guys, remember, you've got 2 outs in this spot, which are the other 2 red 4s in the deck. Those are not good odds. You're up against a good player here with a strong range. Just let it go. The entire reason to play a hand like pocket 4s is to try to hit another 4 on the flop. You didn't hit it. Just get out of there, cut your losses, and save yourself some money. Number 5, don't hero call one-liners. So guys, this is a big one that a lot of my students still struggle with. And let me be clear, nits, the tightest player at the table, they're not bluffing you. Believe me, they have it. You raise it up with pocket aces, the best hand ever created, the ace of clubs and the ace of hearts, and a nit calls us. Now, this is a totally different player type from the recreational player. This is the tightest player at the table. Maybe they got the sunglasses on, they got the hoodie up. They've been sitting in a corner folding every single hand for the last half hour. Guys, they're only waiting for the best hands possible, or they're trying to hit a set. They've got something like pocket 7s maybe on this board coming up. So let's skip ahead to the turn here. Turn reads the 6 of spades, 8 of diamonds, 9 of clubs, and 5 of hearts. You bet. They raise. Guys, let me ask you a question. What is the tightest and most passive player at the table possibly raising you with on this board that you are still ahead of with your 1 pair hand? And I want to be crystal clear, that is the critical understanding that you must have. Pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket queens, they are 1 pair unimproved, and we have not improved on this board. What you want to be doing in this situation, and I know it's painful, is just folding your hand. This player has a straight. They have 2 pair or a set. By the way, I should have explained what a one-liner is. As you can see on this board here, 5, 6, 8, 9, anyone who has a 7 in their hand has a straight. Guys, they're not bluffing here. Pocket 7s is a classic hand that nits will try to call to set mine you with before the flop, or they've got a hand like 9, 8 here, pocket 6s, pocket 8s, pocket 9s, pocket 5s. All of these hands have you absolutely crushed, 90%, 95% to win against you. Guys, fold your 1 pair hand here, save yourself a boatload of money, and thank me later. Number 6, middle pair equals call. So let's talk about how to play against the aggressive players now, because this is the number 1 player type that my students in particular ask me about the most. These are the players who play a ton of hands. They're not necessarily recreational players, but they play very loose and they really like to bluff you. So these players are difficult to play against. I struggle with them myself, but if you try out this strategy, I think you're going to have a lot more success. So you raise it up with the ace 10 of clubs. This is a beautiful hand that I suggest playing in nearly all situations. By the way, if you want to know what hands to play, I also have charts inside my free poker cheat sheet that show you exactly what hands to play. Once again, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But an aggressive player calls you here, so let's go see the flop now of the king of spades, 10 of diamonds, and the 3 of diamonds. So in this spot, we have hit middle pair with the best kicker possible. We have ace 10. This is a decent spot. We expect to be ahead here the large majority of the time. So you make your standard flop continuation bet, but this player raises. What on earth is going on here? Well, guys, let me tell you, this is just an aggressive player doing what aggressive players do. They love to raise you with any pair, any draw, or sometimes even nothing at all. There are multiple draws on this board. Queen Jack is a super obvious one. That is an open-ended straight draw. And also there are 2 diamonds on the flop. So if this player has 2 diamonds in their hand, they have a flush draw. So what should you do in this spot? Guys, you just want to flat call here. You do not want to re-raise them here because that would be tremendously overplaying your hand, but you never want to fold here either because we have middle pair top kicker. Guys, these hands are the perfect bluff catchers versus aggressive player types. And by the way, people ask me, but Nathan, what do you do on the turn in the river when they keep betting big? Same thing, guys, just call. Just check call on the turn. Check call on the river as well. Guys, bottom line, this is how you beat aggressive players. Let them bluff their draws. Let them bluff their worst pairs and let them bluff their total error and nonsense as well. It is absolutely true. Just give them the rope to hang themselves. This is how you beat an aggressive player. You just call them down. And number 7, you gotta build it. So guys, let me tell you something you probably already know. You can't win a pot versus a passive player unless you build the pot yourself because they're not gonna build it for you. So you call with pocket 5s, it's the 5 of clubs and the 5 of diamonds versus a passive player. So this is the kind of player who is only raising before the flop with super strong hands. So the flop comes down with the king of spades, 5 of hearts, and 3 of diamonds. So we have nailed middle set on this board. One of the most powerful and profit-laden situations in the game of poker, and they make a small bet. Well, the mistake that I used to make and that a lot of my students make is just calling here. But guys, ask yourself, how on earth are we ever going to win a big pot? And that's clearly our goal in poker, right? If we just call their small bet. Small bets don't build big pots, right? The other thing you have to remember is that hands like this do not come around very often, so you must win the maximum. Guys, what you want to do here is jack it up big. There is no way that I'm just going to call their small bet here. I'm going to raise it 4, 5, 6 times their bet in a situation like this to make it look like a bluff and also to get massive value when they actually have a strong hand like ace king or king queen. Guys, key takeaway here, you can't win a big pot unless you build it, especially against passive players. Do not slow play monster hands like this, especially in the small and mid stakes games, and I think you're going to have a lot more success. All right guys, like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And once again, if you want to know my entire strategy to absolutely smash the small and mid stakes games, make sure you grab a copy of my free poker cheat sheet. That'll be the top link in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. All the best to the poker tables, unless you're on mine.